Take a deep breath. As I take you into the realms of light and darkness. Cause I'm a god. In my four corner room, staring out the ceiling. I shift from physicality and astral feeling. I saw UFOs and ETBs in my vision. I made a bold decision. I saw my body as a prison. I saw the clouds in my room as I was living. I can't feel my skin, I can't start breathing. I felt like the end and beginning. I carried the mic I was given. My soul departed from the living to a place where there's no even. Anthropomorphous beings and demonic legion. I received high frequencies from my left brain region. A spirit saw me and started screaming. I saw myself a call, I wasn't dreaming. There was no days and seasons. I was taken from psychology for a reason. The souls in the heaven. I created a back door for escaping in hell. Mentally reshaping the band and record for creation. There was a glitch, so I asked for relocation. The universe is vulnerable for penetration. My thought caused the inflammation. There was soluble object, no 3D animation. I saw the bodies of men for soul transmutation. In the dark realms, they were pen and aggravation. I lifted my pen for mental elevation. Molecular structures started breaking. The air started shaking, I was partially awakened, chanting and meditating. There was no time duration. I went to Ganges for purification. I came back to build like a master mason. I made my own space station. I'm energy, the source of creation. I healed my war man from decapitation. Nikola Tesla conjured me for his scientific operation. Yo, operation. Energy. Astral projection. Astral projection. Astral.
What up, what up, what up? Welcome to another episode of Herm Radio. We at episode 29, man. What you just heard was Mob the God with Astral Projection, a really dope joint, a really like deep joint. He goes in lyrically, man. I actually produced that beat. You know what I mean? I'm proud of that joint. Young kid from Ghana, from Africa. That's like just a real intelligent lyrical poet with his bars, man. So definitely check him out. That's Mob the God, MOBB, uh, the God. You know what I'm saying? He's on Bandcamp. He's on SoundCloud. Definitely check him out. But tonight we got a real dope individual, man. A friend of mine, a real dope MC, rapper, well known amongst the Boston, Massachusetts rap community. You know what I mean? I'm talking about Pete. I'm talking about Pete Skeet, man. What up, bro? How you doing?
Living, Papa. How you feeling?
Feeling good. How's everything, man?
I mean, everything personally good, man, and just trying to spread positive life vibes, man.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So the way that we do at Herm Radio is we like to kind of introduce people through their music. So we kind of get like right into a song off the bat, kind of introduce you that way. You know what I'm saying? So what song do you think kind of you want to share with us, like just right off the bat, to give us a feel of your style and whatnot?
Well, one thing that I like to just come right off the cuff with is basically freestyle bars, spontaneous bars that come to me as I'm just right as the instrumental kicks in. And I recorded one of those, and a friend of mine spit a written verse, so it was kind of like the idea of the written versus the freestyle, and it was in the context of like a boxing match. And we have like another friend that did kind of like an announcer's voice, um, that kind of introduced both of us to make it like a battle royale type of feel.
Yeah. And this beat, who produced the beat?
Was it not yourself?
Nah, it was Scribe, yo.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, Scribe, right?
I lose track sometimes. Yeah, it was Scribe. Right. Scribe and
Yeah.
Scribe has cultivated a sound. It seems like I've heard a number of his beats. Come and think of it, now that you mention everything. But yeah, that's what's up.
Yeah, big shout out to Scribe, man. We're gonna have him on the show soon, man. But yeah, so this joint right here is Geo featuring Pete Skeet. You know what I mean? Produced by Scribe. You got Vid the Visionary on the dope vocal introductions. You know what I mean? Like only Vid could do. And yeah, let's get into it, man. Real dope track.
Right into it.
Call.
Point
Call.
blank.
Point blank, man. Herm Radio, title fight.
Everybody in the building. Yeah. Ha.
Ladies and gentlemen, tonight,
Listen.
introducing in the red corner
Listen.
with the endless flow, Gio Da Vinci.
Yeah. Not the life unexamined. Envisioning a plate of baked salmon. Gourmet dish. What's your wish? Hit the Hamptons. Thirsting how the dirt hors d'oeuvres. Blur spiced herb with the right serve. Saw the mic, got a slight urge with the quickness. I call my girlfriend Mrs. Thickness. If dumbbells were bars, then I ushered in a new fitness. A smooth litness. Watch you move to the business. Dancing with the devil in his guard is my witness. Where I won't stop till the throne's caught. In my music rock patron spots. Not a long shot. Use your own guap. We're knuckleheads who don't talk. When it's time to show the cops what we're made of. Please don't debate us. Asking for a lawyer with the patience of Bird Herm at full sail, learning the basics in engineering. Through the grass, out the clearing. All of these past demons, they keep reappearing. Stuff them down so they don't strike. Guitar's gonna be a long night. Saw the moon off the porch light. Think I heard another dog fight. Damn.
And the challenger, coming in at 16 bars with 10 freestyle knockouts, it's the Ultimate Pro!
The right hook is supposed to drop right here. The right hook is supposed to drop right. Hook to the brain. Knock 'em out the frame like look left. So deaf with the 1-2 right left. I stroke my G cleft in contemplation. Then I move like chessmate. Checkmate, the situation goes if up, down, shift, frame, switch. We move like boxing, undercover, shadow boxing. It's music infused with heart and soul. It's a combined type of feeling, play your role. If you want, then you haunt your dreams. Freddy Krueger, I'll spread your brain matter across a bagel, eat it like a Bruger. Yes, I bless, I finesse bars at ya. From every angle they capture, bones fracture, eternally speaking. Never tweaking the skin though. I make it happen from within though. Like the strangest changes, most deranged shit, intriguing. You can fuck with those in major leagues, skiing down the slope of the beat like a radioactive to isotope. With twice as dope as my last quote. You last in the right direction. Spit the damn anthem, make that connection. And the synaptic action popping. We'll keep it throbbing, bobbing, popping, noggin, throbbing, bobbing, weaving, believing in what I'm speaking. I'm tweaking in what I'm moving and grooving and then improving. But you wanna see the smooth shit? Nah, this is that real smooth, rugged, raw type of tip that I'm on when I flow from the mandible, highly flammable jawbone socket.
Oh shit, man. Y'all definitely went in on that track, man. That was crazy, man. So, yo, I want to hear about that track. Before we get into that, if anybody didn't know, Ultimate Pro, that's your other alias. You got a bunch of aliases, man. So tell me, who is Pete Skeet, man? What's the story behind you as a rapper, as a hip hop figure in the whole Massachusetts area and whatnot? Yo, you can hear me? Oh, you couldn't even hear me. Okay.
Oh, now I'm hearing you now.
I'm sorry. Oh, yeah. All right. So, my fault. Yeah. So tell me this, man. Who is Pete Skeet, bro? What's the story of you as a hip hopper? How long you been doing this, man? What's hip hop mean to you? All that.
Well, first, Pete Skeet is a fun alias that I have, a more lighter, looser, more laughable one, where it's if you remember the old cartoon Doug, there was his best friend was a character named Skeeter, and kind of based on that character, they used to kind of jokingly call me that guy, and I just kind of shortened it to Pete Skeet as one of my aliases, just for the sake of creativity and nickname, like invention and stuff like that, you know. I just love expression of all kinds and all forms, and the cadence and the dynamic of hip hop has always just been so attractive to me and to my ear. And I like to pay homage to the whole genre by freestyling, especially on a regular basis, as a way to make a contribution to what I love, basically. And I think so, but I definitely come at the whole thing from like either a very much a cipher perspective, or uh, a fan's perspective, where I'm really trying to create like an atmosphere or a vibe that's like participatory and inclusive, and and kind of encourages people to jump in the mix.
I got you. So, so that's hip hop for you is a community experience.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just someone that gets a lot more out of the cipher vibe, if you will, where there's really, yeah, it's a group session where everybody's contributing something, and it's very spontaneous and interactive. Um, that's to me that's the most attractive level of hip hop.
So, like for instance, man, I know I've seen you out there a lot, man. But tell for those who don't know, you're like freestyling is kind of your specialty, right? And you know, obviously before the COVID situation and for years before this, you be hitting up a lot of venues, just going off with the freestyle. That's kind of like your passion, right? So that's what you mean, kind of when you talking about like community. It's a community experience, right? So what is freestyling to you? What is the element of live MCing mean to you? Because a lot of people aren't so much into the live MCing. So what does live MCing mean to you?
Well, first of all, that's a good question. You know, first of all, liveness is just like a vibe that you can create that's palpable, that makes people either think or feel something or want to dance or be moved in some way. And when you're on that pulse, which is a huge thing for me with music, is really tapping into your own internal pulse, and you just kind of will then be intuitive, and a lot of things will come naturally to you, and you'll just kind of know what you want to do with all the different elements that you're working with. Um, let's see. What else would you want me to answer as far as that like particular question? You
As
know.
far as that question, nah, man, that answers that question mostly. You know what I'm saying? But so how long you been rapping and all that?
Well, I basically have been either writing bars or freestyling for like 25 years. And growing up, for me, the forte, what I was known for, just kind of like a character. Like I was able to get into character and really channel something, and then really just kind of like come like with somebody who maybe sometimes seems like they have kind of a calmer demeanor, someone who just kind of pops into life when when they freestyle rap, and all this different kinds of like expression and animation comes out of the person, and it's kind of surprising for that reason. But I always wanted to be entertaining, but really have like a lot of lyrical content and like bar quality and message behind it too.
Yeah, yeah.
And really, what I try to aim for is to spit a verse level freestyle. So it's like got some coherence. Maybe there's a hook related to it, a sound compositional sense, and you can at least use it as an ad lib or as part of like uh, you know, a track that you might make for an album, you know. And I also think that it's good to be able to like have a script to some extent, and then to be able to ad lib off it. Like people just like you were saying with the live show, like people just appreciate the live show um, because it's like you're putting yourself out there in the flesh. It's just a little different. It's like you're putting your being out there in a little bit of a different way than when you have polished tracks that you have worked on, which is there's always a place for that. But to have the full package, I would say it's great to be able to create a real buzz directly from getting reactions from people, you know,
Yeah, right.
as it's happening.
That kind of communication with the crowd and that kind of interaction back and forth, you kind of feed off of that, right?
Yeah. It
Word.
really becomes bigger than the individual. Yeah.
So, yo, man, what you think, man? So I know you was talking about doing some freestyle tonight. That's something that we've only did like once before. You know what I mean? So it'd be really dope if we get into some of that. You want to do that now or you want to do that later?
At the spot of a dime, anytime I can spark a rhyme. So it's just, you know what I mean? It's up to us, man. It's up to you. Whatever you feel like.
Pimping ass
format,
Pete.
Man.
You know what I mean?
You know, Pete Skeet pimping the streets. You know what I mean? Banging the beats, unique with the 1-2. No run through, no dress rehearsal. No how-to kid of how to spit. Legit. These bars are intricate. You know? But I mean, we can do this anytime, so.
Word. Let's go. Let's get into it then. Let me toss you a beat. And let's get into it.
Alright.
Hold on. I'm gonna set it up. So you wanna just go off? And when I put the beat in, you can't hear me anyway, so I'm gonna just let you go off, man.
Here we go.
So,
Burn Herm Radio. What's the scenario? So, I'll tell you, yeah.
I got you.
Oh, yeah.
All right, yo, give me the thumbs up when you can hear this beat, okay?
All right.
Hold on.
Hill Street Blues. I was on my cruise, patrolling. I was surviving. Man, I wasn't live and spitting, driving down the lane. Man, I was bringing the insane type of migraine pain to the frame. Picture plain, abstract thoughts come to life when we connect the dots of our memories. Past, present, future. Charles Dickens, sickened, stricken the plot as the thickens. We leave them in a state of group perception, territory, terra incognita. It's Peter with the theater, automatic with the 1-2. We know that we run through, not just spit, no dress rehearsal hot. One take, equate Tory zone, florid zones of language blossoming, awesome and also great when we conflate the mind body to a serious unitary focus. Getting the focus, put it in a state of hypnosis. This is that explosive osmosis. You know that we notice every exquisite detail and put it into so quick, fast motion. All they can do is see trails. In the background, I see veil like a great heroic spirit, but I'm anti. When I bland, please ride. I bleed by. I'm on that deeper level of the flesh. Did it like abstract, conceptual, ink blessing of the MI. Why not spin off the top any given time? I say to myself, and I do it. It's the executor, the function. I'm just fucking fluid. Ancient to the cipher like I was a druid, but instead I'm intuitive music manifests. No, I got the Hill Street Blues in my flesh. I did it the best I could with a fresh feeling like a hood over your head or a halo. I spit the Uzi, the black thickens, I spray flows with no need for captions. It's spoken to the air like invitations, like the magic. Doing these dart gymnastics, elastic backflips. And so drop, echo. Can't stop the way that we release them. Like lava, magma core. Of course, we speak the caffeinated beverages they saw into the horizon. I got so many bars that I'm oozing them out each orifice, kicking choruses, song compositional. Of course, I was beyond traditional with the unorthodox, awkward glance, like never stand askance on the most important issues of deep in the tissue. Cut it up like toilet tissue, mommy. What's the issue? That is this, and we are here. And we only adhere messed up her tear. See me in the rafters, I hear laughter in the background, to the foreground. It's a foregone conclusion. We bring the cipher sound, born flight conclusion. Why don't you hear the fusion? Of course there's no illusion, but we cause contusions, so to speak. Metaphysical techniques on the beat are quite drastic, bombastic. Of course we elastic, and we taking it to the point of sarcastic. Talking, satirical noggin, I'm throbbing and bobbing and weaving like a strange boxer. I'm shadow boxing with toxins that I relieve from your brain, alleviate the pain. When I came through with the positive restraint, like a migraine relief, a headache joint, I disjoint reality from its previous point, take it on. A fantastic train of thought adventure, rethought association, exercise. Who sent you? It really doesn't matter where you're coming from, it's where you're at. Came through with the clever contact, point blank. Who is it? It's me, mystery, exquisitely with the incubation. High news flash, the dawn's fly. You came by with high level perception, no deception. Straight ahead like Pan-Atlantic memes, like Exception. I could go on for days. They call me the bunny. I'm signing my picture. I got a funny mind in the cut, like a surgeon, precision. Vision, grandeur, bars elegant, slang. Hey. Trust your instincts when you do. Marching on, promenading. See, I was promenading. I was anticipating this. Bang bang, these lines like a hang. Jump on the block, pumping the spot with something like beyond your presumption is high. In fact, it's like I'm marching on a strange promenade. I take it to the highest level, a highest level, individual. Epic decibels, incredible levels reached. You breach in the hall with levitation and cold. It's bright, tremendous, extensive damage. You really just reached it with a strange habit, a strange magic we cast it. You can be blasted like fracking, but with the most intentional, deliberate, accurate target. So many, really just hanging on. A bit of a lesson, repping the session. We're moving beyond the positive, negative, cycle, simplification to a point of complexity. And understand the idea beyond the conception that the stuff inside the lab, the world is really about. The road like itself, took the need for the cinematic features for your help. To understand people, and the truth that even speak to a preacher about the bigger prize that was a need to reach the truth they needed, the way you proceeded. You never be defeated, but rather to be the ones that need it. True side, even got the blue side, like karate, without the forte, with no foreplay, doing vision, a bring the war from fire, keep you inspire, the trees take you higher and higher, but I keep it lower, because I kick things never, lower the boa, snake constrictor, how does the rattle of those, with the Dalai Lama, positive over negative karma, fuck the dogma, I bomb ya, with soundscapes. I sound discreet, but when I get on this microphone, I'm irate, talking, never cocky, just accurate, immaculate, clean, and the scene MCs are just unbracketed. No way of categorizing the funk. We keep it wide open, kind of like you were just left debunked, like a myth that was solved. Hey. All right, yeah. Bang, 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 bang. Bang, 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 bang. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Up close. Those are super up close. You know? Skin level. Horse. Yeah. This is my favorite thing to do in life, man. I'm addicted to it. See, each beat is kind of like a carnival ride that I take when I really just equate tone to ability to wait. Deeper meanings, automatic cinematic screening, kind of like a beaming view, like a picture, never was a retro, any kind of scratching off the record. I am the contractor, but I come a record. Check it, let me check it, never was a checker in my existence. Little better was the system, just thinking, checking, never end vengeance, I never end story. When I'm on the microphone, I'm always seeking glory. I don't want the story, no, never. Come through clever, forever, black, 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 the torch, everybody have a possession. You can really feel it when we're on the progression. You're just the essence, you're just the international. Never the lesson, never do the blessing, never digress. Come through with the main idea, main course, main meat of the matter, the pit of the pattern, the feet of the pattern. Come through with the back of the box, back of the box, come through, voice of the people, the smoke, you hold it, the meaning. You hear the screaming, automatic, cinematic, theory. Change it up the beat, change it up the tone, change it up the page, change it up the zone. You really hear me? I'm thinking it clearly, taking my time, spacing my lines out. Taking you with my rain cloud. Never be careful the time out. When it came with timing, when it come on rhyming, impeccable the timing. Reckoning I'm climbing. Look at the crescendo. This is the top of the climax. When I come on right, present tense, I just max. So the law of the rhetorical time. With this outer genre, ready to bomb you. What can I guarantee the satisfaction. This is the action. Reaching from action. His name is instantaneous. Russian. It's like Tito. A free flow vodka. Raw just like the rock. Take it like a bookie. And I'm a little deeper into your soul. Everybody has a voice to know. Way to contribute to the greatest soul. Know that we can go. The deepest impression left in this session is a blessing. It was a moment of solidification of coalescent essence. The new without second guessing, without the truth manifest in session. All about how we put it together like jail cells. I set well the ample evidence of the resonance that I currently develop in your mind with. Sandwich. And in fact, like the filament texture to the light amp bulb. I gulp them seeds down my esophagus tract. Then I really just digest them. In fact, it's like Reader's Digest. It takes multiple sittings to understand the degrees to which we are just acquitting of no type of crime on the stand. I got a type of rap style that MCs could never really land until it happens rapping. We get it cracking, actually. In fact, it's explicit as well as implicit. You can interpret the way that we rip shit to pieces. Provide MCs with lyrical telekinesis, breaking the thesis down into pieces understandable, palatable. Of course it was what it was and more with the verbal score that we set like pure-hearted intentions. Of course it was ascension manifest that we reached. Never took it to the border because we never breach, echolocation. I really just rock and sock every situation when it comes to rapping. I'm addicted to the way that we get it clapping. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, I came through with a style that could never stand askance on the issue of rapping, on the issue of getting it clapping actually with metaphysical satisfaction. My faction is full of all types of attractive techniques. Yeah, here we go. Yeah. Oh, the COVID. From the top of the mind, it's a feeling deep in the spine that the COVID shit is kind of like trying to change the times. Everybody wants to know what the real fact is from the fiction. We need a little more straightforward depiction and transparency from the gatekeepers of the information disparities between factual and actually interpretive and all type of, the range of what is scientific and what is spiritual and what is energetic and what is residual. But either way, we got to get through this with miracle type of energetic spiritual approaches, along with any kind of tools and external uses and techniques that are medical, as well as any kind that will contribute to this end of this time. Quarantining the mind is not part of my rhyme. I stay free, though, from the spot of a dime. Remarkable times. I'm chartered, I find. my voice when I really seek it. I'm like a light beacon of hope, speaking of dope. Here are some quotes live with the smoke in the mirror type of effect, mystique, all type of indirect, subtle techniques from the select word choice, diction, definite description of what's going to happen when we get it cracking like inscriptions left in epic lettering on the sky. The dawn is fly from on high, speaking sky high. Hey, but I could go on a day. Yeah. Well, I think it has taken me a long time to fully cultivate my freestyle style, but like I think it's just a lot about tuning into this thing I talk about all the time, which is the pulse, your inner energy, like conscious energy and subconscious energy, I suppose, too, to where you're trusting your instincts, you're being intuitive, you're not acting like you have to know the master plan the whole time you're rapping. Like there's a side of that to rapping, the the more deliberate planning side. But then you got to bring it to life and make it relatable to people. And I just think that's a lot about just putting your voice out there and just putting something of yourself into it, trusting your instincts, tapping into your subconscious. And for me personally, it's come to a point where like words just kind of appear in my mind's eye, and off the words that I'm spitting, all kinds of like other words or possibilities or associations or places like routes I could take it kind of open up. And
Like visually?
yes, somewhat visually, like pathways, kind of like opening pathways, like illuminating chakras, you know what I mean? Like your inner energy, you becoming like more like aware of it, you know? And then you can kind of like anticipate where you're going with shit with your rhymes and either take it a different way or just kind of like reinforce where your mind's already gone, you know? Like you can stay steps ahead of it if you are really tapped into how you're thinking, how the beat's sounding, how you're feeling, how the audience might be receiving it,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know?
yeah. Yeah, that's something I struggle with is being able to come up with rhymes just on a whim like that. Especially like if I do come up with rhymes like that, a lot of times it'll be like bass, bass, like frequency type of stuff that I say, like real, like low frequency stuff. Like I just say,
Yeah,
like you know what I mean.
you hit those low notes real well, to be
Nah,
honest with you, on
nah,
the
that's.
rap thing.
I don't mean like that. I mean like the content. You see what I'm saying? Like I'll talk if I'm just
Oh,
gonna freestyle. Like I've gotten better at it, but like if I'm a freestyle, I might just be like, F you, yada yada, egotistical raps, da da da. You know what I mean? It's more like
yeah,
that because that's like the most easy thing for me to think of, and I think a lot of
yeah,
like the kids nowadays, it's easy for like to say a lot of this stuff. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
if I didn't have a problem just saying all that type of stuff, I could probably freestyle. But to come up with thoughtful words like you're doing, like that's a real struggle for somebody like me. You know what I mean?
Word. Well, yo, I mean, I just feel it's like, hold up.
Yo, be careful of your battery, man.
Yeah,
For
no, I just turned it back
car
on, so it's
car
straight now.
battery and shit.
Yeah, yeah. I just reset it, but
You said what?
it's like it's just a matter of kind of like, I mean, some people might say like, for me, some of it's also come from being introspective, I suppose. Just like exploring my own consciousness, the way that I perceive reality, the way that I think, why I might think certain ways, like what I want to keep out of that. Because what I really feel like my process is like is sifting through a lot of shit and figuring out what of it I want to keep, you know? So I try to stay really open in my bandwidth as far as like all the kinds of information and possibilities I'm taking in. Um, because I just think a huge part of freestyling, especially, is the musical spontaneity, the energy, the intuitiveness, the intuition that you can apply to like bringing the word to life, basically, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. Are
But like, yeah.
you an avid reader? Like, how do you like taking in content?
Well, I like to read, yes, but I like to read like art. I like to read paintings. I like to like just sit with a painting and like look into it and look at all the different aspects of it and take it in like fully, and then in certain like specific parts of it, and just like I like the idea, yeah, of like being able to take like make an inference. Like, say you read something, you make an inference and you take it further, or you reinforce what the meaning is. But basically, like, you're adding depth and enrichment to your life if you can kind of like analyze and like make abstractions and extract from your environment meaningful stimuli. You know what I'm saying? But like another part of like, I think a key part of, if you really want to know if your raps are hitting or not, is just like, does it resonate? Do you yourself feel that internal buzz or energy, that kind of like when you hit the right note type of feeling, you know? And it's not like it's an exact science, but it's like when you feel something, when you're moved by it, that's how you know that you're creating something that's like really hitting the sweet spot, you know?
Yeah, when you're moved by your own work, right? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
And like, yes.
some artists will be like, no matter what, their own art. I don't know, because everybody's got to be moved by their own work at some point, right?
Yeah, I hope so. Yeah, you know.
Yeah. So yeah, like I know I got certain joints that like even move me, and I'm like, oh wow, like yeah, that's something I did something right on that one, and other people will also be like, oh, they'll second that. So yeah, I know what you mean.
When you feel that visceral feeling, it can be soulful or whatever it is, that just, you know, it makes it like you know, or like anybody's had this experience before, where like a track that is played just really speaks to you, be it the lyrics, the sound of the song, whatever, a combination, but like where basically you are feeling like somebody's speaking like directly to your experience, you know? And it's like it can be
Definitely.
an incredible way to connect with people. Yeah, synchronicity,
Yeah.
collaboration.
That's an amazing feeling. A couple of times when I'll be up there like performing, and I would say something in a song, and then somebody be like, "Yo, that what you said, that was pretty." That like, oh wow,
Yeah,
it's like, oh, that's a good feeling. You know what I mean? Or
I
somebody
think that's
hits
just
you up,
about one of the greatest.
one of the
That's
greatest,
one of the
right?
greatest. Yeah, because then you actually affected someone personally, you know?
Yeah. Your rhymes every time you be rapping, you be like dropping like astral information. I want to say that like astral information and universal knowledge.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? So that's
yeah,
like, so I'm always like listening. Whenever you saying something, you be like, you be dropping certain information that if anybody's open to getting in tune with, is like will definitely put you in a good place. You know what I'm saying?
yeah. Because I mean, what you know, what I've explored a lot is like just my consciousness, human consciousness in the context of art. I studied some art in college, you know what I mean? But like, I've always liked to study art. Perception itself has always been just fascinating to me, you know what I'm saying? And you know, so it only flows naturally to like I don't know, but basically like one huge thing I just really think is like, in some way you can pay homage to things like hip hop that you love, that you grew up on, by contributing in some way, you know? Doesn't have to be like the greatest or the worst. It's more about authenticity, you know? I really believe that I really
Yeah,
believe that.
yeah.
At the end of
Cause
the day, you're gonna grow as an artist a lot when you have authenticity, you know?
there'll be certain rappers that aren't necessarily even the most amazing lyrical, or they don't be coming with
Yes.
the craziest rhyme schemes, but they got that feeling to it. For instance, Tupac, man. Tupac wasn't
Yeah.
necessarily rap it, that bap, bap, bap. He wasn't necessarily all like that.
Oh,
He
yeah.
was more like da 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 da. Like he's really just telling it to you. You know what I mean? But he's one of the greatest rappers of all time because of the authenticity. And if people talk about authenticity, about the gang affiliation, all that, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about he really meant it when he's talking about humanity. You know what I mean? He's talking about the human struggle and the human love and like Dear Mama. That's an art. That's a genuine song. He really felt that way about his mother. You know what I'm saying? So it's like genuity is more important than, and that's why, you know what I mean, to be controversial. Like we talk about Eminem. Some people say like Eminem, his best joints be the ones like, for instance, on his latest joint, I like the one where he's like the darkness. Like I don't want to be in the darkness. Like, cause he's talking about like life stuff. Like sometimes when somebody's not necessarily talking about relatable things, they could be going off like rap it, that, and all that type of stuff. But it's like you gotta have that message that relates. If that's what you're trying to do, if you're trying to be a rapper, you know what I mean. There's a realm for that too.
Yeah, there is, you know. But like one thing you touched on about Tupac, say for example, is the transcendent aspect, where you're now going beyond just like one identity to really try to connect with humanity at large, like he was doing, and that's kind of what like great art can do too, you know. It's just like something that carries a greater message, you know. That's like relatable in some way to people that, like, you know, like get something out of them, you know. Like but really, does it move you, you know? Like the way the indication of whether or not you really felt it, or really is like, does the song move you, you know?
Absolutely.
So
absolutely.
that
what are
just
some songs? What is some of the songs that you could think of that were the most moving songs you've ever heard? A couple of them.
Okay. Sam Cooke comes to mind. Change is gonna come. I like huge vocals where someone really goes in with the soul and really sings about something that's like, it could be painful struggle, it could be anything really that's like true, you know.
Yeah, I really like the Beanie Siegel remake of that song. Change.
I never heard that.
Yeah, check that out.
Good.
Check that out.
Yeah,
I know they did a whole lot of hip hop remakes of Change Gonna Come. But yeah, that's a good one.
Or but like say some Bob Marley, or like some of the more like roots or soulful reggae stars, they come to mind, some of their songs, as far as like really hitting the like soul chord, you know. I mean, that's really what it's about though, you know. I don't know, man. The thing about it is like what's pleasing to the ear is going to be what's popular in music in a lot of ways, you know. There's nothing wrong with that, man. It's just that like a lot of times it becomes one or the other. Either you're like a popular rapper that has catchy lyrics that don't really mean that much, or you're like a super conscious underground rapper who like has a good message, but like heads kind of tune you out after a while or something, you know?
Yeah.
But like it's key to balance those two things, man. It's possible to achieve all of it, really, you know. But I suppose it's also just about variety, having some conscious tracks that really are deeper, that are more serious and sincere, and like maybe like require somebody to really sit down and listen. Other tracks that are more about cruising in your car somewhere, or like a situation, you know. Other ones that are more like, you know, like political, you know, just whatever, but just different kinds of.
Everything got its place, huh?
Yeah, exactly. Everything is everything, man. You know.
Yeah, like I like listening to ignorant music when I'm at the gym. If I'm just in a certain mind state, I like listening. Like today, it was a beautiful day. I was listening to Dead Prez. happiness, you know what I mean, and be healthy, stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? It's like I'm with it, and it's like you gotta music kind of summons like different feelings, you know what I mean, or sets the tone or like captures certain feelings. Like you might already be feeling a certain kind of way, and it like captures that, right?
Yeah, I would say music is like something that for the reason you just mentioned, and like it's just like something that I've been more attracted to as just a general medium for artistic expression, because it's so alive, man, and it's like you're like able to make it like something that's palpable to people that they can viscerally feel, that like gives the music a sense of reality, you know, like beyond just like word, just beyond just like a symbolic written word, you know. It really has its place in really just animating the word and everything like that, you know.
Yeah, that's a fact.
And it can be a soundtrack, right? You know what I mean? Like a soundtrack to how you feel, basically. Like something that reflects directly an emotion or experience or like a thought or like a point of view you have, you know? Like we're talking right now, but you know what I mean? If there was like some background like imagery or like soundtrack to what we were talking about, there probably is something, you know, like that we could apply. And that's kind of like how music can come into everyday life too, you know? But like, it's just incorporating, it's interesting, like, cause like, you know, it's just about incorporating, like, it could even be a sound from your environment, of course, you know? Anything that you can incorporate to create like a like musical impression, you know? Or like a vibe.
Yeah,
and so it's like, you know,
no, go ahead.
Yeah, no, that was about it for that. What were you about to say?
Yo, so let's get into this other track that we got of you, man.
Yeah.
Give him that kind of recorded Ultimate Pro Pete Skeet. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
This was actually a freestyle because that's what you're known for, obviously.
This is another freestyle.
So this was.
But you layered it really well.
Yeah, nah, you did your thing, man. So let's see. The fuck. I looked up your thing. I see some crazy stuff. All right, hold on.
But the other thing I would say, oh yeah.
Nah, go ahead. What are you gonna say?
I was saying this in the interns. It's like another thing I really think of it as, man, is just channeling something. You know, it's like you allow the energy to kind of like flow through you, and like it comes in waves, but like, and then you just gotta personify what you're feeling internally. You know.
Absolutely.
But tuning in, the biggest thing I would like in it, that it seems like to me, is like it's like a tuning in kind of experience, man. Yeah.
I find that gift of you too. But yeah, most definitely, that's very on point. So let's go. Let's get right into it. This is a freestyle by Pete.
Hey.
Herm Radio.
Gosh. All right.
See me in the huddle.
D-Lo Beats.
See me in the huddle. See me in that midst of the huddle. Like we smoking that Cheech and Chong. We gon' last real long. In the teepee, smoking, acting creepy. See me, something like live TV when I speak my mind. Off the top spot of a dime. Remarkable dimes, we smoking, evoking the dipper meaning. Cause we got the smoke screens, smoke signals. Symbolic of the rapaholic nature that I have. Biological nomenclature couldn't define the rawest stature. When I come, I be the species. Undefinable theses, statements I'm making from the depth of the basement to the tip top of the attic. I was smoking erratic, but I was still coming in waves, coming in bunches, coming in layers. I was in my lair, in my den, smoking your brain out the friend, setting a trend, kinda like I'm Wiz Khalifa. I will bend your reality reality, make it kind of refract and reflect. And in and out of focus, I resurrect the art from where it was to where it's going. Progressively I'm flowing. Abominably the snowman is snowing on your front lawn. Of course it was number one. Champion sound, we amping them now. We freaking burning it down. Amplify, amplify, amplify. I stay so fly, high. My name is Greco, I'm high. Level, focus, dopeness, manifest freshness. We do it blessed, kid. Every single time we combine the flesh and the mind undefined. See me in that high state. See me in that next level mind state. Futuristic, like my man from the future. They call him the one and only Black Swan. He's from the homies. He's from the future. The verbal Karma Sutra. We lace the sutures. Surgical precision. Make a deep incision. Further exploring with the intellectual, selectual, highly raw sexual, connectual analysis. Couldn't describe the chalices that I smoke from. Take it to the palaces of the mind. And I refine the art of rapping. Really get it cracking. Interactive action. Satisfaction. My whole faction. Spit that cipher complete sound. It's Pete now, but it'll soon change to the next MC derange. Something like a strange cloud, a strange cloud. See me moving like a strange shroud. Pure mystery, gorillas in the mist making history, blissfully. Hey.
Yeah, that last part always gets me. Gorillas in the mist, making history blissfully. That's the best part. Gorillas in the mist, making history.
Gorillas in the mist.
It's like, none of that's written. That was all off the top, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah, that was.
Tell us about that.
Just came to mind, you know.
Tell us about that. Tell us about the making of that song.
Well, for one, going to your studio, man, is a real like organic, natural look, man. There's like a view of the city, and you have a nice big window with, you know, all the technical stuff you need, you know. So I just like to go in and just not zone out, actually. I would call it zoning in, you know.
Yeah.
But basically zone in, and then so for those tracks, man, I was trying to channel a couple things too, particularly specific, like the idea of shadow boxing, or like of like looking in the mirror and trying to stay one step ahead of yourself, like physically and lyrically, you know. That's one thing.
So that's kind of a common theme, huh? Because the other track was also kind of like a boxing metaphor, huh?
Yeah.
So
I like the idea.
What's the take on that?
Yeah.
What is
trying to stay one step ahead of yourself mentally, especially, is a good challenge, I think.
Like a one-on-one competition.
Yeah, competition against yourself, though, you know.
Absolutely.
Where it's like
shadow boxing.
Yeah, shadow boxing. You know, you don't need anyone else to shadow box. It's like a competition. It's like solitaire or something.
Yeah. And shadow boxing is an important fundamental.
Yeah, to like sharpening your sword, say, like in freestyling or rapping, to practice, to like deepen what you do, you know?
Yeah. So that's kind of like, I got you. So that's reminiscent of like freestyle. Because shadow boxing, you freestyle, you don't have a set routine or nothing. You kind of like freestyle with it, right? So that's
you're trying to actually almost like outdo yourself. Like you're trying to stay so much a step ahead of yourself that like what you see in the mirror, you're trying to stay a step ahead of that almost mentally, which is kind of a weird thing, you know?
Yeah.
But it's like a fun exercise, man, and it actually keeps your sword real sharp as a rapper, because you know you want to just have that ability to make it happen at any time, man, you know?
Yeah, that's a very crucial and important ability. You know what I mean? So at the end of that, I heard God's voice right at the end of that, talking about, yo, that was dope, man. And then that last track, the first track you played for us, had God on that first verse, man. So you and God are kind of like a squad, man. I hear you guys on a lot of track. I always see you guys together, man. Tell us about God and like your musical history with him.
Well, he's a cat that can rap his ass off for days. And the first time I met him was at the Freestyle Clinic in Everett, and I just noticed his style. And then after the session, we started talking, and just like he's like a huge rap fan on every level, and he's someone you can talk to about it. So we started to just build a rapport, and then we kind of like have this thing free-minded, where we just kind of like we'll just wherever we are, just get together and just freestyle for whatever length of time. But basically, we can play off each other. Sometimes we just do our own freestyle as we go, play different instrumentals, try out different hooks. And but Gio is like very talented. He's also good at making people feel included. He's very social. He's like good at being expressive as far as how he's feeling, and he's trying to genuinely find out how other people are feeling, and like to make sure everyone's comfortable kind of person.
Yeah.
He's become a good friend of mine, basically,
That's dope, man. So I know that when this quarantine thing goes away, I know you guys are trying to hit up a lot of spots, maybe even outside of the local area, and try to like perform and stuff, because you guys have your chops up from performing. You guys been performing for a while, right?
Yeah, I mean, I've been someone that I just love it so much that even if I feel a little bit of I don't know, like whatever you might feel when you're introduced to a new situation, I actually enjoy it so much that I figure why not just do it all over at whatever venue, and it's something that like I don't really worry about it, because I really just like the actual act of doing it is something that I enjoy enough that I'm not going to have a bad time. I'm not worried about missing the mark,
Absolutely. Yo, Pete, we gonna get out of here soon, man. But I want to ask you one more conversation piece before we leave, right? So, you somebody that I see you rap anywhere, everywhere, no matter what. You do your thing. You're who you are. You're not afraid to be who you are, and you stand in your own skin, and you're comfortable in your own skin, man. Like, so I'm wondering, like, to put yourself, you just talking about, even though you still might feel some feelings, even though you might not show it, you still might feel a feeling going into new situations, going into challenging situations or high stakes situations involving like rapping or whatever. How do you find the courage or the wherewithal to put yourself out there, even though you still might feel some of these feelings, and then perform and be able to like say your piece and say what you need to say? What's the process of you being able to execute even though you feel some kind of feelings?
Well, that's another real good question, man. And I think it is about wherewithal, where it's like you're able to, well, when I feel something like a flutter in my stomach about a new situation, say, I like have kind of cultivated the ability to channel the energy into like it kind of like spurs me awake. It serves as a spur to actually get me to be as on point as I can be, because I can channel the energy more into like mental awareness, mental awakeness, and like that kind of energy is gonna generally enable you to try to do your best at whatever you're trying to perform. It's like the kind of fuel that's gonna give you the drive to really perform your best with excellence, with the best excellence you can,
Mm-hmm.
And that's something and that's something that people appreciate it when they can tell that you're going above, like kind of above and beyond with the passion, uh, you know, and like like people that just hear the track, a huge part of it is going to be the passion coming through of the artist,
Absolutely.
especially for people that aren't like already into that, type of
Absolutely.
thing.
Well said.
Yeah.
Yo, you wanna kick off a freestyle to leave everybody with, like an acapella joint?
All right.
Man.
All right. Acapella from the top of the Rockefeller. building, I'm filling no void. I avoid it entirely with vibrancy and energetic resiliency, which fills my cup to the brim with experience and knowledge on a whim, which is beyond the walls of intelligence. It's rather relevant and benevolent, which is given away. It's a given that we rivet in, pivot in, like in the street or in the low post. I so most definitely can continue this for days, but we'll continue to keep it brief because sometimes less is more, like economy of speech or some kind of punctuation to the infinity. But I could go on for days, man. I love doing this, you know. And really, once you get the fluidity, man, it's really just something that it's like it's gonna go as far as you take it, kind of thing, you know.
Yeah.
So it's like if you want to push the envelope as an artist, you can, you know. So
Yeah.
yeah.
We gotta have some more just sessions where we just like rapping and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Just chilling. It's always every time I see you, it's like we always like running around doing stuff. But we gotta just chill.
True.
You know what I'm saying? Now that I got the car, we gotta just chill. You know what I mean?
And we can just discuss also the approach to this shit, you know.
Absolutely. Yo, Pete, it's been a pleasure as always, man. Always good energy, always informative. Sitting down with you, man. So, yo, Pete, he goes by many names. Ultimate Pro, Pete Skeet. You know what I mean? He's gonna be, you know what I mean, at a venue near you.
Pete, me.
He specializes.
Pete, nice.
He specializes in live rapping and freestyling, but he's also got like some joints that he's gonna be putting out in the near future. You know what I mean? So he's definitely look out for
trying to get into improvisational acting more.
Okay.
Hell yeah.
I can definitely see that.
So maybe some stand-up type of routine, maybe not comedy, but like something incorporating hip hop a bit.
That's smart.
Freestyling.
That's you got that comic timing, man. Cause you be dropping jokes, but you just keep that straight face. So yo, let me know. I'll definitely come to the show with you and be in the crowd and stuff like that.
Yep.
If you do,
I bet you. You probably play a role in some way or something.
I'm with it.
If you wanted to.
I'm with it. That's my type of thing, man.
But just trying to grow, man. Expand as a performance artist, you know.
Absolutely. That will only make you better. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yo, Pete, man, we gonna be.
Yeah, man. Well, you know what, man? Thanks a lot for even just having me on. This was mad fun, you know.
Yeah, come back on too, just to be on and stuff. Like we got a bunch. Like just come back on one of these days, man.
Yeah,
I'm doing this every day for now. You know what I mean? We got up until next week. We got more artists. You know what I'm saying? We'll see. Like, we're just gonna keep it moving, see how this thing goes. But you know, come visit us. You know, just sit with us, sit with some of these new artists. You know what I mean?
The momentum train will continue.
No doubt, bro. Yo, peace and blessings, man.
All right, man. Remain steadfast. Persist.
Absolutely, bro. Prosperity. Lord, yo,
prosperity.
What up, bro? Talk soon, man.
All right, respect out.
All right, one. Yeah, man. And you know what I mean? Another amazing episode of Herm Radio. You know what I mean? Pete, good dude, bro. And we out.